Well, hey, happy Sunday, everyone.
Happy Sunday. Thank you for joining us.
I'm Tuna,
And
and
I'm Dr. Michael Gross, and this is brought to you by
jeez.
Healing the Holes in Your Soul. We have a
Ah,
little competition. Whoever gets the book up first, that guess who wins
he
most
gets
of the time.
he is on top of this one. He's the author of the Spiritual Primer, and if it wasn't, I'll just say it right now because it's a standard thing I do. If it wasn't for this man, this book, and this incredible man, that book that he's holding would not be happening. So I would love to go ahead and talk more about these books, and we might. But for now, what I'd like to do is also let you know that Dr. Michael Gross has an incredible message for everybody. Would you like to tell them what it's all
Yes,
about?
but first of all, I want to talk about this book, and it's a very, very inspiring book. I recommend everyone read it, both men and women and young adults. It's inspiring, it's motivational, and it's a beautiful story. And it led me to understand a lot of things, and I'll go into that a little later. But anyway, I recommend this book.
I highly recommend this one. And you
And
know what?
what?
Someone told me the other day he liked the part, and it was a guy who said, I love the fact that I can take a pen and write in the book because there's parts where you can answer questions. And he was thrilled. He goes, I had no idea I could do that. Normally you just read a book and sometimes you highlight list parts, right?
And you know what's interesting? Her book, you can do the same thing with. Isn't that fascinating? I don't know how it happened,
I copied his
but it was
idea.
a good idea.
I copied his.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to put this down. Uh,
I'm going to hit the water.
okay, I'm going to go ahead and introduce him. We don't script this stuff, it just comes through. And the only part that we do want to make sure that we mention is exactly um, Dr. Michael Gross's background, because this is, like I said, a phenomenal gentleman sitting next to me, and I'm so blessed that he's in my life. So here we go, okay, with the only formal part that we do. Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he has been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, a spiritual counselor, and an incredible teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to bring forth their own intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches classes in spirituality, self empowerment, Reiki, and other modalities. In concert with God, the true source, he has also achieved great success and miraculous healings.
Thank you.
I'm thrilled that he's helped me heal issues. I had to just say that.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Um, back to the script. He remains humble, knowing the work that he does all comes from God, the true source. He lives in Lakewood, Washington, and Michael has just launched his nonprofit. And I'm going to go ahead and let you tell them a little bit about it.
Well, thank you. The name of the nonprofit is the International Institute of Self Empowerment. And exactly that's what it's all about, self empowerment. We will learn and teach about self worth, self love, and self esteem. And because of this wonderful lady that I had the honor of meeting and coaching and learned all about her story, there are going to be 12 arms, the International Institute of Self Empowerment. And the first arm is dealing with abused women, children, and men. And the director of that program is Tia Knapp. And I know she's going to be a great asset and help a lot of women, children, and men. So thank you for being part of it. I appreciate it.
Thank you for giving me such an honor.
Well, you're
An
welcome.
opportunity to help. And I mean, we all have issues. And what's beautiful is that we now have a place where we can go and talk and learn and grow and become more empowered in our own way.
That's so important. That is really important, which we're going to learn some more tonight.
Right? Are we ready to tell the title?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. The title of our topic tonight is The Benefits of Challenges. And take it away, Michael.
All right, here's Michael.
Uh-oh.
Oops, we just went blurry.
We just topped out
We
there
can't
somewhere.
move too fast for the cameras. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you about it. And I was thinking the other day, which I posted on Facebook, about a circuitous route or circuitous journey. And sometimes we look at the circuitous journey And we go, why did it take so long? But on the other hand, each step of the way in a circuitous journey or challenges with our behavior or what we turn to learn or choose to learn is we gain more knowledge. And that's so important. And I've talked before that, failure means success because you learned what worked and didn't work. And it's just like with the space program, some of the, rockets that they've shot off has exploded or didn't work right, but they learned something new. So each time we have a challenge in our life, because I don't like the word problem. Word challenge to me means it's something that can be overcome, whereas a block could be permanent. And how many people do we know where they have blocks and the blocks are permanent? I have people that I've known, they've been complaining about the same story for 30 years. It's like, get over it. That's what you want to tell them. But I realize that it's very painful for them. But the answer is when you have these type of challenges in your life, when you took a circuitous route, you got to stop and ask, what did I learn from it? What are the benefits from it? So, for example, if I desire to be an architect, well, some of you may be familiar, Frank Lloyd Wright is so outstanding, his work, and I've seen some of it, not all of it, but trial and error. That's the way it works. So even if I went to college to become an architect, yeah, I have the basics how to build a 100-story building, but the design and all the wind and all the things you have to take, and for take into account, I should say, and the land, how steady is the land, the earth, you have to have concrete to support it, and then how do you make it more earthquake proof, and on and on and on. So experience teaches that. Now, as an architect, for example, you work under a group of architects and you learn from their knowledge, and then you create new knowledge. Or as a lawyer, you learn new things. So you look up the history of lawsuits, and perhaps you can apply them and convince the judge or the jury of them. Or if you're a doctor or an MD or whatever, and I look at my life path, and my motto is if you don't know where you're going, you can't get lost.
I love that one.
So if you really think about that, and this is not ego, my resume is, well, let me get it. It's huge. All right. I've done so many things, more than she's ever listed. And I got to tell you, never planned it. It just happened. But then I sat back there and I went, wow, all the knowledge I've gained, all the things I've learned. Whoa, it's really incredible. And for me, when I work or do a certain career or whatever it may be, I do really well. And then all of a sudden, there's a stop and it falls apart. And I've learned, okay, time for the next step. Because whatever I was to learn from it, I learned and moved forward. And that's what I want to talk to you about. Is that all these challenges that you have in your life, look at it as knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. You can look up encyclopedia of the old days, you Google everything, you look at all these things, and maybe it's true, maybe it isn't, maybe it's someone else's opinion, whatever it may be. But at least you're gaining a little bit of knowledge. But one of the things I often I'm hammering away at is critical thinking. And I look at, all the challenges and the circuitous routes, and I take a look and what did I learn from it? And then I think about what I've learned and the knowledge. So do I think of it as an obstacle? No more. I look at it, well, the time wasn't right. I had to get the knowledge and now I can proceed forward. So the time is right now. And that's what's important, each one of us to think about. Not tomorrow, not next week, because tomorrow never happens. Next week never happens. Next year never happens. Do it now. Or even tomorrow morning never happens. Although I'll grant you sometimes you make a list of things to do and you can't get it to it today because there are many things going on. So the first thing you should do next day is exactly what you didn't have time to do. And that's so important to you. So look at knowledge. And I'd like all of you, when you're through listening to this, to think about all the things you've done in life. Even if you work for one company for 40 years or 30 years, you learn something and your skills change. But look at what else you do. Maybe you went fishing, you learn how to fly fish, or you went gardening, or someone taught you how to, paint. And along the way, I had a neighbor when I was living in New York State, and he was a steam fitter, and he taught me how to sweat pipes and do joints like a plumber would do. He taught me those things and taught me other little things about plumbing and so on and so forth. Now I'm a plumber? No. Do I apply it for myself? Yes. But I learned a great deal. So everything that goes on is for a purpose, and you learn it for a purpose, even if you run into a challenge. But look at all the knowledge you've gained. So look at, my mother, excellent cook. Well, how do you do that, Mom? Well, you put a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and a fingerful of this and a sprinkle of that. And you're trying to write it down. Well, teaspoon, half a teaspoon.
That's how my mom cooked. It was a dash of this, a dollop of that, a little fingerful of this. Yeah, she
Yeah,
didn't have measurements.
And it never came out the same twice, but it was always better than the original. It kept getting better and better and better. And what is the difference? And the difference is because Mom had confidence in what she was doing. And she just knew it was going to come out. There's another secret. The knowing that whatever path you're on, whatever challenge you have, it's going to work out perfectly for you. That's part of the secret I wanted to share with you. Many people, many souls are impatient. They want it now. Well, so do I. Sometimes I don't have patience to really wait. But I realize the wisdom of waiting because things will turn around. And there's so many things that I couldn't get to, where I was delayed, really delayed, not that I put off. And finally got around to it. Oh, it was already solved by someone else. I figured it out for you, Michael, so you don't have to give me any answers. Or they show me a quick path or whatever it is. So it really worked out. So did I procrastinate? On paper? Yeah. But was there a reason? Yes. Because somebody figured out more quickly than I. And I had the answer of whatever I desired to do. So in the great, great understanding of life, that everything that is in life that is a challenge, it becomes very positive. And the reason it becomes very positive is because you learn something new. And that's what's so important. So take a moment after we're done, and I'm repeating this again, that each one of you need to look at your life. Look at all the knowledge you've gained. That is so important. That's priceless. Because eventually people will come to, well, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do this? And they have a great deal of knowledge. And they're willing to share the knowledge. And that's the beautiful part. You are willing to share your knowledge. However, everybody hates someone who's a know-it-all. This is the way you do it. This is the way you do it. No, you have to wait. Or you can say, if you like a suggestion, I'll be happy to help you. And if they don't want a suggestion, okay, just honor their decision, which really goes against our human nature because we want to help everybody. And it's like, don't you see the path you're going down? You're going to screw up. Then maybe that's what that person needs to learn. That it adds to their book of knowledge. And the book of knowledge is every one of your experiences. And it's buried somewhere in your subconscious mind. But isn't it interesting? You may not do a thing for 2 or 3 or 4 years. And you got this challenge and you think, how do I do it? Oh yeah, I remember how I did it 5 years ago. And you would apply it. Or perhaps you'd learn another technique. Things are happening so quickly in our planet. This is almost the end of September.
How did that happen?
And I'm going, where the heck did this month go? I mean, where did this year?
Where did the year go?
It's 9 months have flown by. And again, people say when you get older, time flies fast. Well, I talked to a lot of teenagers and they're saying the same thing. Things are going very quickly. And the truth is, and it's measurable, the Earth is spinning a little bit faster.
Really?
It's not only spinning clockwise, but also moving through the universe a little bit quicker.
Wow.
Maybe by a couple of minutes or maybe by more. I'm not sure.
Wow. Sorry, I hadn't known that.
So we have to look at that. And now, we look at some interesting things. And we're looking at climate change and we're looking at all these things. But I want you to understand, no matter what is happening on this planet, each one of us are responsible for. And I want to explain how we're responsible for it. It's by our actions and our thoughts that's responsible for it. Not laying a guilt trip, but that opens up another door. Oh, wait a minute. This is a challenge, and if I created this challenge, as a dear friend of mine used the term reverse engineering. So what if I reverse everything? And I'm not so angry, I'm more loving, I'm careful, I'm helpful, instead of angry and upset. What would happen? And I look at so many things, and the example I bring up is 1930, 31, and 32. When we studied, they had the Dust Bowls and the great droughts. And they said, well, the reason for the Dust Bowls was poor farming. Yeah, I can agree because they didn't understand a lot. But on the other hand, the droughts, lack of rain, all over the United States. And if we look at what precipitated this, what created it, the Depression. What's the Depression got to do with growing food? The answer is our emotions and our energies affect everything around us. And if they talk about Mother Nature, and they're actually energies, spirit guides, elves, gnomes, fairies, all kinds of things that really exist that we're not really aware of or we're ignorant of. But some of you listening to this are well aware of it, and they do exist. What's even more interesting is we look at the Great Depression, people are depressed, they're worried, people committed suicide. I mean, jobs, bread lines, it was incredible. And so now we're looking again at climate change. And the weather's chaotic, and we're having storms and earthquakes and volcanoes and heat and all kinds of things that are going on, even droughts. It has to do with our mass consciousness. Does the pollution of the planet happen? Yeah, it does, to some degree. But if you look at 1930, 31, and 32, probably half the population, maybe two-thirds, I don't know. What did they do? Well, they plowed the field with horses and donkeys. Few of them had what we call diesels, one-cylinder diesels, but mostly horses and donkeys. Half the population, they were still using horses and donkeys and very few cars. The electrifying of America, where they had electricity, they were still using oil lamps. They had outhouses. So what really changed the weather? And again, it's our consciousness, how we think and how we feel. And if we bother to use that critical thinking to look at the challenges that were happening in the life, we realize that we are responsible for everything on this planet. That's what's so important. And that's critical thinking to realize it. But they don't teach that. Reason they don't want to teach it is there's something that a hidden message that people are saying, and that is they don't want you to realize that you have control of your life. So I'm here to tell you, you have control of your life. And if you look at every situation you go into, everyone, you knew whether you should go into it or not. Maybe the ego got in your way, but you heard this little voice, no, 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 no. Oh, I can do it. I'm going to make a lot of money. That's the ego. No, 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 no. And that's really what's happening. So as a non-denominational minister, I've done well over 1,000 weddings. And, some of them may have gotten divorced. I don't follow through on it all the time, and if they want to contact me. But sometimes I talk to them, and this is their second marriage. I talk to them about the first marriage. And they go, I had this little voice tell me, not going to work, but I know it's going to work. He and she, we're both going to make it work. And every one of them has got a divorce. They realized they heard this little voice. It's not going to work. But maybe that's something we had to learn. So you learn something important. And learning it, you know what to look for. What to look for in relationships. So again, there's a challenge and you learn something new in your life. Even when you've taken a job and you shouldn't specifically have taken that job, but you were lured by the money or whatever it is. And then the other thing that has occurred, the challenge is, hope it works out, I hope it works out, I hope it works out, I hope it's going to be good, I hope it's going to be good. What you think you create, and what you create you experience. That doubt that you're expressing subconsciously in the unconscious mind or consciously is creating an energy of a manifestation of doubt that it's not going to work out and you'll end up getting fired or something will happen. You need to understand that. You need to take responsibility. And again, third time I'm mentioning it, it's time for each one of you to look at your life and say, what is the direction? What have I learned? Where am I going? And this is what my message is all about. First of all, the knowledge you've gained is priceless. You can read it in a book and get a lot of knowledge. I'll turn the book around and get a lot of knowledge. You can do that. But you also can embrace the experiences you've taken. And I'm willing to bet if you read my book, you'll read a lot of things. Yeah, these are some of the things I went through. Yeah, these are some of the things I did. Oh, you mean I'm responsible for creating my life? I'm not a victim? Oh my goodness. And the truth is, yeah, you created your life. But through reverse engineering, you can change those challenges in your life and turn them into gold and sweetness of honey and perfect health. Now it's up to you. Now you have to take responsibility. That's a very hard thing for you to do. How much time do we have?
We have about 9 minutes. You have plenty of time.
All right.
Keep on talking.
All right. I just want to be on time.
Yeah, we respect everybody's time. We appreciate everybody coming on Sunday nights for this.
Therefore, with everyone, I want you to understand that since you are responsible for creating your life, don't look at the hard points. In other words, the pain, the emotions. Forget about that. You went through that enough already. But look at the knowledge you've gained and how you, by your example in life, can pass on that knowledge. So, I used to go to my parents and say, oh, I got a problem. It'll work out. It'll work out. I don't know how it's going to work out. I want a direction. That's the other secret. The other secret is when you're having a challenge and you realize what you've learned, go meditation and ask, how do I turn this around to golden honey instead of challenges and depression and anxiety? How do I take this knowledge of what I've learned and use it not only for me, but for my family and those that I meet? And the first of all, you lead by example. That's so important. You can talk to your blue in the face, but when you demonstrate what you believe in, then those who observe you will become the believers. They will emulate you, and they realize that you've opened the door for them to create success. And how do you measure success? Well, that's another challenge. Some people measure it by materiality, fancy cars, homes, big fat bank accounts. Okay. Other people measure it by how successful they are in business or working for someone else, how much they are regarded. Or other people measure it by what is my contribution to society and the souls. And have I helped change their life and made it easier, more loving and joyous, which I will tell you, you cannot put a price on. It is priceless.
Can I say something?
Absolutely, because I'm going to hit my water again.
Michael hit the nail right on the head when he said, when you live a life where you're giving unconditionally, lovingly, helping one another, supporting one another in whatever challenges they have, it's not about the big bucks. Yes, it's nice to have the big bucks, but there is so much more out there that and I will say this, what you've taught me, the time that you spent with me, it's priceless. The things that you've given me, I had no idea were missing in my life. As I thought that, being who I am and where I am now, I was actually doing okay. Being retired, I don't have to work if I don't want to. But what I didn't realize was that the quality of life, it's the quality of life as opposed to the quantity. You get exactly what Michael said. You get this moment in time. How are you going to treat this moment in time? Are you going to be loving? Are you going to be judgmental? We are an example to our family, friends, and children. Our children are on loan. We only get to raise them for a little while, and then they're having their own life. So make sure that what they see is what you want them to also reflect. I could go on and on and on about the incredible things you've taught me.
Thank
And
you.
I mean, this man and, the amazing book that he wrote, it's incredible how it starts to open your eyes and you start realizing there's so much more in life than just being born, going to school, having a job, retiring, and birthing out. There's a lot more to it than that.
Absolutely. And there's only one direction in life, and that is moving forward all the time. Walking, from running, jogging, whatever you want to call it. But it's always crawling.
Crawling.
Yeah, sometimes we crawl. But it's always moving forward, forward, forward. And that's what I wanted you to also understand about the challenges of life. Because each challenge creates a door. And it's up to you to open that door, walk through that door, and realize I am the solution. I am the creator of my life. And I can choose to do and be anything I so desire. Because it's your choice. Remember, because you are unlimited. I see by the clock we're running out of time.
That's perfect. Perfect way to wrap this up, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess we should probably get to the other part, huh?
I think we do.
Okay. Well, on that note, Michael and I do this every Sunday night at 7 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time.
And push the subscribe button.
If you're on YouTube, absolutely. This is airing also on Facebook Live, and it's also airing on YouTube. So make sure you go to Dr. Michael B. Gross on YouTube and hit the subscribe button. And you can watch all the recordings that we've done in the past almost, I don't know, over a year and a half now. We have several, and they're all powerful messages. So he's on YouTube. I'm on YouTube. His recorded calls are also on YouTube. So Dr. Michael B. Gross for YouTube. And if you want to talk about what happens Tuesday night.
Yes, Tuesday night I have words of wisdom, and part of them come from you because you ask these questions, and hopefully I can answer them, and then I leave a 10 to 12 minute message that is inspirational. But it's so important for all of you to realize this and to join us. The cost, zero, your time. The benefits, knowledge. But each time that you're calling in, or even if you don't have a question and you're learning and listening, remember, you're gaining knowledge. And knowledge is priceless. And knowledge cannot be measured normally. It is only measured by your success and what you are doing and observing others by what you've passed on. Then you will know. But there's no stick of measurement. It's a 9.8, a 7.5. It's what, hey, thank you. I appreciate you for sharing that or doing what you did. That's priceless because it's unsolicited. So in order to call in, there's a telephone number, and the telephone number is?
For the 6:30 call in for the questions, it's 202-926-1059.
And the access code is 125-446-pound.
I love this part. One more time, the number 202-926-1059.
And the access code is 125-446-pound. Have fun. It's every Tuesday from 6:30 p.m. Pacific time to 7:30 p.m. Pacific time.
And for the recordings,
I call it the playback. Yes.
they're available 24/7. So if you have missed something, he has about 250 recordings. And holy moly, just pick a number, whatever number pops in your head, and dial in and listen, because here's the number. It's 434-300-4170. And
the access code is 125-446-pound.
Okay, one more time for the recordings. It's 434-300-4170 and
And the access code is 125-446-pound. And by the way, I want to add one more, and that is my book has gone to the printers to be printed. Probably take a month, maybe a little longer, but it's the second edition of the Spiritual Primer, and there's more information about the 12 manifestation protocols. So I add a little bit more to it. And figure by the end of October of 2022, it should be available. So I don't know when you're going to be viewing this, but there's one more.
wait. With the holidays around the corner, his book would make, or either book, would make a wonderful Christmas gift. Keep that in mind too.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
And then the second Saturday of every month, we do a mass consciousness healing. And it runs from 9:55 Pacific time AM to 11:01 AM Pacific time. First couple of minutes, I talk, and then towards the end, there's all silence until I come back on. So if you join us late, it's fine. You hear silence. It means we are in the manifestation and healing mode. Because every time we do this and we work on healing the mass consciousness, we ask for healing. Mother Earth, all its inhabitants. Guess who's the inhabitants? You and I, and our family and our friends
We
in the
live here
animal,
too.
mineral and vegetable kingdom. We all receive those benefits. You're right, we do live here too. And the telephone number to that is,
Oh, I
and
don't
it's
know.
the same as what I call Words of Wisdom call-in, and that number is
It's 202-926-1059. Access code.
125-446-pound. So please join us.
I'll have everything in the comments as well.
All righty.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're just doing fine. So I want to thank everybody. It's towards the end of the year. And I want to wish our Jewish friends a Happy New Year, Rosh Hashanah, and a Yom Kippur. And we recognize all religions. We appreciate all people. Because really, there's only one path. And that's the path your soul has chosen for you to do a beautiful, wonderful contribution in this life. Remember that. And remember that you are important. You're not insignificant. Because your contribution through your love, through your knowledge, through overcoming obstacles, you become a role model for others. And we want to remind you one more time.
One more time.
One more time.
Bookends.
And it's called Healing the Holes in Your Soul, a must read by Tiuna.
And the most incredible book of all, The Spiritual Primer, by the most amazing man, Dr. Michael Gross.
Thank you.
He has done so much for me and so many other people that I highly recommend you start with this one. I know the second edition will be outstanding. And then when you get around to it, you can grab that one too.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate your time. Know that you're never alone, that you're loved, and you're surrounded by your guides and angels. But most of all, the unconditional love of the true source. Everyone have a wonderful week because you are unlimited. Namaste.
Namaste.